Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Please smash that subscribe button. We can't thank you all enough for the growth that we've had. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us. We're at Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everyone's favorite TikTok. Don't forget, check us out on Reddit as well, and leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
Yeah, we're sorry we haven't been around as often. I'm a little bit busy with the Fringe, so my ass is taking care of that. But we are here now. Let's talk about the Blue Bombers. Let's talk CFL. We even got some NFL talk to talk about. Let's give the Bombers a grade for last week. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, on the season so far, right? We're doing this
at the bye.
I'm gonna give them a B. Where I don't know. I mean, you could come out and say it's a little bit harsh, or what I'm gonna say, but they've been good. They're 5-2, so you can't complain about that. A couple rough losses. The one to BC stings. The one to Ottawa hurt a lot. Just because they had that game. The other games have been fairly close. The Saskatchewan game, they kind of pulled away. They looked good in that one. Offensively, stat-wise, actually looks pretty good. You could lament. I'd like to see a little bit more crispness on that offense. Some drives ending in more touchdowns and less 2-and-outs. And that's what I was expecting this year with all the wide receivers. The stats look good. Points-wise, sometimes don't look good, and they struggle to move the ball a little bit. But you know what? Over the course of the season, I can see some room for improvement, maybe some better play calling there or something. The O-line has gotten beat at times.
Yes.
But that has looked good late in games. So it's up in the air right now, and the D has played well. So right now I'm going to sit the Bombers at a B.
Play calling, definitely. I give lower than a B on both sides of the ball. Did you use the word lament?
Yeah.
Oh, Benny used a school word. Slow starts and below average blocking against league's best D lines has been an issue for the Bombers. That reluctance to play the heavy tight end set is puzzling to me, not just because I love watching it as someone who loves an O-line, but it's bully ball and it helps an older, I will not say aging, an older offensive line, especially in the running game. Zach Caleros, only QB who's in top 3 of yards, TDs, completions, and QB rating. The running game is amongst the best in the league. With Brady Oliveira. Dalton Schoen, despite slowing down, is still leading the league in receiving yards, I believe, and is tied for 4th with receptions. Special teams has been all right until Janarian Grant got hurt. Now we're struggling to flip the field, despite the fact that Sergio Castillo has been one of the best kickers in the league. And D-line below average against the run, and they've been pretty good against the pass, but then that hurts the secondary. Demario Houston has kind of been the only good shining light. And what's his name? Evan Holm. So I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go B. And the injuries are kind of taking a toll on the linebacker core. I don't think they've been at their best. And I think there is a lot of room to grow and get better. So there's optimism there. Yeah, I agree with you. B. Strong B.
Yeah, I was expecting a lot more out of this team. And especially like you say with the O-line, it's gotten beat in games against some D lines that we probably wouldn't even think would have beat them, right? And then it seems like they've turned things around in the second half. Edmonton had them pretty good in that first half last week as well, and what has Edmonton really done on the D line so far this season, kind of thing. But and the run game, same thing, had no yards really in that first half against the Elks, and then took over in the second half. Want to see a little bit more consistency in terms of that offense. Getting it going right away, having that running game going away. Yeah, the stats look great. A lot of Zach Larris has 3 games with over 300 yards. So that's there. It's just, I expected more firepower, more points than say 28 points a game kind of thing. Maybe I was expecting a little bit too much of this offense, but they got a long season to go, and hopefully it just improves from there. But they really need to figure that out. And sometimes they need to put these games away, even against the Elks, right? They let the Elks hang around. Against the Redblacks, they let them hang around, and look what happened. Calgary game was close. Montreal game was close too. I want to see this offense take it up a notch and not rely on the defense to close out a game.
My number one concern is they have not really been able to impose their will on many teams this year. And that's been a trademark of that team for the past couple of years. Not just being competitive and winning, but imposing their will on both sides of the ball. And of course, that starts in the trenches. So that play's got to get better. Got to get better. Bomber fans, put your opinions and grades in the comments below. Don't know why I'm pointing. Critical questions from west to east. West to east. So you can go first with the West this week.
Okay, we'll start off with the Bombers. can this offense after the bye find the rhythm? Like we just talked about, a little bit more consistency, having that fear. Now they got Lawler back. Lawler played great last week. We got to mix them in there and get all these guys kind of going somehow. But I want this Bomber team, this Bomber offense, to put fear into teams like, you know, the Doug Flutie teams kind of did. Every time they were on the field, they were expecting that they were going to score. Time to take that next step for the Bombers, especially if they're going to have if they want to have a chance to end up beating BC or Toronto this season.
Yeah. I don't think they could become like that team again. I think because of their age and the fact that people have so much tape on them, and Richie Hall and Buck Pierce, that it'll be a scrappy year for them. I don't know if we'll see the dominant, as much as I want to see that. I don't know if we'll see that dominant Bomber team again.
Yeah,
sorry, it's, I don't know, just my opinion.
Like you say, it was funny watching Ottawa and Calgary go back and forth last week, and put over 30 or 40 points, right? Each. Yeah. And the Bombers kind of struggled against both those Ds to score, right? And you're just looking at those Ds going, they haven't had very many good games, but when they've played the Bombers, all these teams are taking it up a notch, and there's a target on the Bombers' back, obviously, and there's a lot of talk how good the Bombers have been. Teams want to beat them now, right? Even other fans have gotten tired of hearing about the Bombers, so they enjoy when the Bombers lose. So teams are coming at them hard this year, and the Bombers got to be ready and, you know, have to buy.
Who is the dominant tackle right now in the CFL? I think that's hurting quarterbacks too. Just wondering, putting it out there. Yeah. My question, starting with Montreal in the East, they just signed Sean Lemon, but can he play O-line? Because it's good that they got him. They definitely need that. They're the worst in sacks in the league at 7. But in the CFL, you got to protect that quarterback. And they've allowed 26, I think, at this point. And that's bottom or near bottom of the league. So good signing for sure with Sean Lemon. But they need to address that O-line.
Yeah, one of the things about signing one D lineman like that is he can make a bit of a difference. I mean, who are you going to find on O-line right now that'll come in and help to make a difference at this point, right? So.
Yeah, and I don't know, will he be a right away impact player? We'll see. He's been sitting, not that saying he's not been working out, not at all. Oh, and I'm scared of that dude. I don't want him to message me on Twitter again. But, you know, just wondering, you know, is he ready to go come week 1, or is it thing that, not week 1, but his week 1, and develop? Who you got next?
Let's go BC with Vernon Adams out. I'm not sure how long, but can Dane Evans find the form he had in Hamilton to keep BC at the top of the West by the time Vernon Adams gets back? I think with the D playing as well as they are, you know, Dane Evans doesn't have to go out and win these games. He just has to go out and manage them and not lose them. You know, and they got the Elks coming up here, and maybe that's the only game that Vernon Adams misses. But Dane Evans just has to limit his mistakes, make no mistakes really, and the D will do enough probably to help him win.
Yeah, lean on that running game. Lean on that running game hard, because they got Butler and what's his name's?
Not Butler anymore.
Butler got some carries last week, but they have Sims as well. Is that
Shivers?
BC. Thank you.
But not Butler. No, Butler's in Hamilton.
Who did they have?
Mazel.
Oh goodness. We'll talk Butler later. Hamilton. No, I'll start with Toronto. Toronto, can the Argos stay undefeated? Yes. Saskatchewan, they've been all over the place. Toronto is too composed. They have all the momentum right now. I can't see Saskatchewan taking this game in Toronto. And it's good to see Toronto fans are getting louder. That's starting to get encouraging. Not consistently at 20,000, but they're getting better.
This is the Atlantic Canada game, so this is not even in Toronto. So
that's right. It is Atlantic Canada.
Yeah.
So Saskatchewan might actually have more fans.
No, they probably will. And yeah, I mean, the game's sold out, right? It's probably a lot of them are probably Rider fans making the trek. So
I forgot about that. I don't think I'd change my opinion on it.
No, it's not going to change anything.
Maybe if it was at Mosaic, yes, but no, not now.
No. They might have, I even have Mosaic. I mean, they're not the scary team that they once were at home, you know, back into more and so in Taylor Field, really. Right?
Without a doubt.
They're like the Bombers when the Bombers moved into IGF, right? Losing lots and not home field advantage was gone. And right now that's happening to Saskatchewan there.
Did they lose their first game?
Yeah, to the Bombers, right?
No. In IGF? Did we beat Montreal? I know it was Montreal.
Yeah, I think so.
We might have, eh?
But they didn't. They didn't have a lot of success there early on. So,
jeez, all right. Who do you got next?
Well, might as well go Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Mason Fine, good numbers last week, but a lot of short yardage stuff. He had that one deep pass late in the game. So are they going to open up this offense to see what Fine can do and include the run game? They need that run game going at this point as well. Morrow basically did nothing last game. You got a young guy starting at quarterback. If you want to give him a chance, especially coming up to this Argos D, you got to let him open things up and use his running game a bit more, or he's going to struggle. And obviously, I mean, they scored 9 points last week. So
that's not good.
No. And
in the CFL,
again, yeah,
jeez.
And it was play calling last year, or their offense last year, that struggled. Their D played well.
Yeah.
But yeah, they got to get that offense going.
Let's talk about Ottawa. Can Dustin Crum continue his meteoric rise? Yes. Against Hamilton, I think so. They don't have a very good pass rush right now, and they just traded one of their better defensive linemen. So I see Crum getting some time to read the defense and get more confident in the passing game. So I think this is a good game for him to keep developing as quarterback.
Yeah, I think I agree with that as well. And Crum, his using his legs has been great too. So, I mean, he almost beat Hamilton when he came in there for the injured Mazzoli, right? He was 2 yards away from at least tying that game. And, maybe it would have been 3 overtime games in a row, but he's looked pretty good so far. And I'm liking what I'm seeing from Ottawa.
Yeah, they're exciting. Go Bobby Dice.
Yeah. Calgary, can Dave Dickinson figure out how to fix this team? When it looked like he maybe turned things around with that win against Saskatchewan, going toe to toe and losing the battle against Ottawa at home as well in a great game. Obviously, not great for defenses or anything, but great game. Dave Dickinson's got to figure this out with the 2 roles of GM and coach. I don't know if he's up for the task for both of those. And Jake Meyer has actually looked better.
He did.
Yeah.
But I don't it's too much right now. Too much for him. Hamilton, and we will talk about this later, so I won't really delve into it, but was the Davis trade wise? Man, I didn't get much in return, but we'll talk about it in a bit. I don't think so. What's up?
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a bit. I'll move on to the Edmonton Elks at this point. When will they get a win? Looking at their schedule for the next little bit, you got the Lions and the Bombers both at home. Yeah, unless you can disrupt Dane Evans enough. But I still don't think that that BCD is going to let Edmonton run all over them or pass all over them or anything. So,
yeah,
Hamilton, maybe in 3 games, but that's in Hamilton, which is probably better for the Elks because they're on the road. But, man, Ottawa after that, then Calgary Labor Day, it's getting pretty rough out there.
I think in our preseason or whatever preview, I think I said Edmonton might win it, one of those Labor Day rematch games.
Yeah, and that's it.
I think I cracked earlier on in the year when I said Edmonton might win in Ottawa.
Yeah,
and they didn't.
Nope.
But any which way, it might be maybe Labor Day. So then let's talk about the Davis trade. Good, bad, thoughts? Go ahead. It's
right. I mean, right now with Hamilton, I mean, nothing was really going well for them after signing all those guys on D. I thought at least their D would be very good this year. And that's what, and we made our predictions. That was one of the things I was basing it on, not necessarily Bo Levi Mitchell being there. But his stats, Jagarrett Davis's stats have not been great so far, and they're paying him. I think it was 153 guaranteed. Like, he got a signing bonus already, so I think they still had 153 left.
Yeah.
So you get him off the books and maybe you open up a little bit more salary cap because they're dealing with some injuries, so that might help. But I don't know. It's a good move for Calgary. It helps shores up their D line because they're facing some injuries as well. For Hamilton, yeah, I don't know what it does for them or what they're doing with it, but good move for Calgary.
A 6th rounder.
Yeah,
a 6th rounder. Are you kidding me? Like, he's one of those players where you hold because you still have a lot of time and you're in the East. So come October, November, when players are actually getting hurt and you need a prime guy in the rotation, I think it's a mistake on Hamilton's part. I think with Bo Levi coming back, him having a chance to, digest a lot of the offense and, get healthy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's a great move.
Yeah, Hey, may help Calgary out, may help them solve some of their issues on D.
Yeah, and I get the salary cap thing. Yes, I
Yeah.
understand that. Yeah, but I don't know. Too early, I think. And well, when's trade deadline?
Yeah. I can't remember in the CFL ever.
Week 10?
Maybe. Let's go with
All right.
it.
Friends and neighbors, when is the CFL trade deadline? Uh let's talk about the roster and the ratio because that seems to be coming up every week. And especially with quarterbacks getting hurt, people are like, oh, see, that's what happens when you have Canadians. Too many. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because when Adams got hurt, he beat the tackle who's an American got beat. So it's not a Canadian tackle who got beat. But any which way, if there's anything that you had to change about the ratio and you can't say pass or push, what would you change about the ratio?
Just going with that with the quarterbacks thing, it says here that you can have three, no designation. So you don't necessarily, you can have three American QBs, right? And
Yeah,
they're not
absolutely.
included in all the other numbers. So I don't see what the issue is there. It's not like the CFL is forcing him to have one Canadian quarterback, which I'd actually wouldn't mind seeing,
Yeah.
but again, you do want to be quarterbacks that you need good quarterbacks in this league to make it strive, right? So it doesn't necessarily, you don't want to miss out on a better guy just because you have to have a Canadian player. So
Mhm.
um to me, it's like designated nationalized Americans replacing designated national players for up to 23 steps.
Yeah.
We already saw teams making a mockery of that earlier in the season. I haven't followed if more teams are doing that, but I don't like that anyways because you're just taking away snaps from a national player, and letting guys mess around, our teams, GMs, coaches, whatever, mess around with the roster and trying to find a loophole. And that's basically what this rule has become. So to me, I'd like to see that gotten rid of.
That's a good one, actually. It's brand spanking new, pretty
Yeah, yeah,
much, but yeah, I agree. It's just convolutes things, and people are playing games.
yeah.
Uh, uh, Out of the conversations of quarterbacks getting hurt because quality of O line could be better with Canadians, I think though there is an argument for making sure that the Canadian starters are even on offense and defense. I think that'll help develop more players, more Canadian players, especially in the defensive secondary and in linebacker. If you even it out, because I think it's pretty heavy on offense, right?
Yeah.
Interior linemen and receivers, and a
Receivers,
lot
yeah.
of running backs now
Yeah.
are Canadians because the field's so wide open. You think that evens out the game a bit, but yeah, I think you gotta do watch out for the quarterbacks a little bit, and I think there are a lot of better polished because of the program and the amount of athletes American linemen that might be better to help protect the quarterbacks. And there is a healthy quarterback issue in the CFL right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like we said, CFL is a passing game. It's a more of a high scoring game. You need good quarterbacks to continue that, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of exciting play over the last few weeks, so it kind of gets you obviously excited for guys like Crum, then hoping he is the next one to kind of take that next step and see, right? Same with
Yeah.
Chad Kelly. I mean, so far so good, but yeah, also there's that fear that once these guys are good, the NFL comes a calling.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not going to own that idea. It was a great idea brought up by this dude, Todd, on the Facebooks on the CFL chatter and bomber chatter page. So I was like, man, that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah,
They should even out the starters and make it, play whether we're four Canadian offense, defense, and then you have a float, whatever you want.
yeah,
I like
I like
that.
that.
Quick and dirty predictions. We're going to do them a little differently this week. We're not going to go game by game, but by situation, which will be the game of the week in CFL week 7 or week 8. My goodness. Week 7.
Eight.
Week 8. There we go.
I'm gonna go with the Stamps and the Owls.
Yeah.
Just because looking at the schedule, I think they're the only two teams that are really kind of close to each other in terms of skill and the way they've kind of played this year. So Owls coming off a bye, they had a very good game against the Argos last week. The offense showed some life. Fajardo still got sacked like crazy. And then the Stamps with the shootout with the Redblacks. Jake Mayer has looked at actually better. So I'd like to see if he can take that next step. Montreal's D was pretty tough. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But I expect this one to be the best one of the week.
Yeah, there'll be some fantasy numbers in this one, I think.
Yeah.
Both teams will put up substantial passing yards. This is not a good team to figure out how to protect Fajardo. Like Calgary has their third in the league in sacks. Like
And now bringing in
Fajardo's gonna
Jaguar
get hit.
Davis.
Fajardo's going to get hit. He's going to get hit, but he's going to put the yards up too. And I agree that'll be the game of the week. I think it'll be a great game to watch. All of them are actually pretty good this week. Is there an upset of the week brewing? I'm really going to go on a limb here. If they can get Dane Evans off of the rhythm, not allow him to get any kind of game plan going, running or passing, the Elks, I think, could win the game. Maybe. I'm not going to put any scratch down on the Elks, but if they can get Kevin Brown, is he hurt or is he healthy? Their running back.
As far as I know, he's playing. So,
If
or he's
he can
healthy.
play,
So
if he can do some damage, and if they let Cornelius just, I don't know if they're holding him back, but if they just let him use his athleticism maybe to spread open the field, that could be an upset, I think, of the week.
is he even playing? Is it Jared Doge? I mean, he's the one who came in and finished that game last week, right?
They got it. They got to put Cornelius.
Or no, it was the week before Cornelius finished the game against Bomber. Sorry, Doge was the week before.
Yeah, let Cornelius.
My mistake.
They're not going to play fours, so just think.
I can't see any upset this week. I tried to look at it and see. I don't think BC, even if Dane Evans sucks, I think BC's D is still too good to allow Cornelius to do anything. Bo Levi, even if he's back, I don't think it'll do enough the way Ottawa's been playing lately. And the Argos should be able to shut Fine down. So I can't see Saskatchewan winning that. So no upsets for me this week.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Nothing there.
Not even he's going to take a push, ladies and gentlemen.
That's not a push. The question was, is there an upset brewing this week? And I don't see one happening.
Wow. Playing it safe with no money on the line. Come on.
I'll put $50 on the line that there's no upset happening this week.
Oh, that's risky. Which player will get the highest PFF ranking this week, do you think?
Let's go Chad Kelly. I think he's going to light up the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and that offense is just going to keep humming for the Argos. It has been the best one so far this season, kind of what I was hoping or expecting out of the Bombers. So Chad Kelly's the guy.
So good. He's getting to be good and better. Oh my goodness. I'm going to go with Matthew Betts on this one, I think. League leader in sacks against an O-line that's given up the third most sacks in the league. Despite the fact that Edmonton might be the only one who I think might get an upset, they'll be playing from behind, and I think Betts will be able to just pin his ears back and rush Cornelius and make him more vulnerable. So I'm going to go Matthew Betts on that, even though I really have no understanding of how PFF works.
Yeah, neither do I. I tried to understand it, look into it a bit more, and I'm like, I'll just believe them. But
they really have someone watching every play of every player and referring back and giving them grades?
That seems ridiculous, actually, but I guess. Or one guy is just watching the game over and over and watching that player, a different player every time.
Okay. Well, friends, if you know how PFF works clearly without Googling it, please feel free to put that in the comments and your thoughts on CFL action this week. Let's move on to some NFL. We're going to do something funky right now. We're going to talk about Matt Stafford and the Rams. Benny, you are the Rams. What would you do with Matt Stafford?
Well, I'll try and do what they tried to do and get him to restructure his contract at this point, because that contract that he has is kind of ridiculous. And yes, the Rams did, give him that after winning the Super Bowl, but he is guaranteed $63 million at the signing. So that's done. And then they guaranteed another 57 just back in March. So not very good management there by the Rams, as we saw trading picks. It worked out. They got a Super Bowl, but now they're in such hell with this cap and everything like that.
Yeah.
Stafford refused. He's not taking a pay cut, or I'm assuming that they just said a restructure, but I'm assuming it would be for a pay cut somehow.
Must be.
So he says no, which is well within his rights. They signed with that contract, but at this point now, it leaves Rams not being able to do a lot. But you can't trade him. You can't release him because you're still paying that money anyways.
Yeah.
Somehow get him to do a restructure if you can.
Yeah. If you were the Rams and I was Stafford, this would be taken care of, no problem. I don't think he's untradeable. If you can find the perfect situation for this guy to end his career and restructure it that way, maybe, but I don't think it'll happen. If I'm Matt Stafford, I'm taking the pay cut. I'm looking at the talent around me and saying, how can I win one more? Like, what are you doing then for the next 2 years? What are you doing? You're not trying to win a championship because they are handcuffed. They can't afford enough talent to get out of the NFC West even.
No,
you don't have any good years left. Like, you won the Super Bowl already. This is your legacy on the line now. You really want to finish out like you started with Detroit? Give me a break. Come on, man.
But maybe that's the case. Maybe he knows he can't give much more, and he probably won't be lasting the whole seasons anymore. His body has taken a beating. He got hit a lot in Detroit, right? So yeah, he's facing so many injuries last year. He barely played. So who
So
knows how he's
then
going to be feeling physical wise. So he's probably just trying to cash in on the rest of the money while he can.
I'm sure he's made enough, and he never
Oh
seemed like the
yeah,
guy who'd go out like that. Really, that's how he's gonna be remembered, as a guy who coasted the rest. Like, retire. At least Peyton went out trying to win a championship. You
did
know what I
Payton
mean?
still have 57 million or whatever hanging around?
Jeez. But I'm saying that's the way he went out. That he,
Yeah.
as bad as he was, no, sorry, he wasn't as good as he was when he was prime Peyton, but he was going for a chip. This
Yeah, and
guy,
he was brutal that year, Peyton Manning. So
jeez. And he took less money to get a lot of talent around him, or keep the
yeah.
talent around him. Like, I don't know. Matt Stafford. See, if I was Matt Stafford and you're the Rams, no problem. We'd get it taken care of. We would have signed Odell Beckham again. Our running backs getting shortchanged in the NFL.
No. You know what? I think it's just where the league is right now. Running backs, it's more of a passing league. Wide receivers are taking up more of that share, that pay, and running backs are just in the background. Teams have shown they can win or have a decent running game without a good running back, right? Look at the Eagles. They had Miles Sanders. They got rid of him. He had a great season, but they realized that, you know, you got just Jalen Hurts. You probably open up that running game for almost anyone back there. So San Francisco has showed it too with guys like Mostert, Wilson, all that kind of stuff. I know they got CMC now, which is obviously he's a dynamic player, so he's a bit different. But many teams aren't using that featured bell cow anymore, right? They're using 2 to 3 guys to play that one position, and really, there's only 32 starting spots there compared to 3 for at least for wide receivers. So no, I think that's just the way the league is heading to right now. And there are some really good running backs, but you know, probably around that $10 million range is where most of them are going to be.
Yes, they are getting shortchanged. Absolutely. I think these owners or team managers are signing these contracts in bad faith, knowing that they won't fulfill them. Like, these guys are touching the ball 300 times, the prime running backs. We're not talking about the depth running backs. Those are the ones, because you see this stat about, oh, kickers make more than running backs. It's because, you know what? There's 3 or 4 other running backs signing for the league minimum. Because if they didn't, they'd be on the street jobless. We're talking about these prime running backs who are not only running backs, they're also receivers, and they stay in every down as blockers as well. Their careers are limited. Of course, they're being shortchanged. They're being judged on how old they are rather than how good they are at ball. Like, let's be honest, like, Daniel Jones is making huge money because of Barkley. Like, that team would have been trash without a running back like Barkley.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
was he was a backbone of that team.
QB contracts are out of hand anyways. So
Yeah,
you
but
could probably
that's
take
I'm
some of
saying.
those and give it to the running backs, I guess. But
The running back does have a lot of value. These
oh, they
prime
do.
running backs have like the way Eckler's being treated. Like, come on, you got to pay these guys for the production that they do. Like, they're putting up more than 1,500 yards. They're touching the ball so many times. Again, like I said, they're blocking. I think they are being shortchanged, and it's not fair to them.
Yeah, I don't think anything's really going to be changing there anytime soon. The way things are going, I mean, you got guys like Barkley, who else is it? Pollard, Josh Jacobs still hasn't signed, right? But even this, like Barkley, stopped his holdout to gain $900,000 more.
Mm-hmm.
So why didn't you hold out longer at this point to try and get more of that, or at least not allow the Giants to use their the tag on you again next year, kind of thing. So I think he kind of dropped the ball in these negotiations. He was steadfast that he didn't want to get paid 13, which was apparently offered or something. But at least get rid of that franchise tag, you know, for next year for him at least,
it's
right?
horrible, but you can't.
Yeah.
That's a tool in the man. You can
No,
just
for
slap it
him in
on.
his next, like signing this contract, going, okay, this is the last time you can use the franchise tag on me. And some teams have done that, you know.
Horrible.
So he could have got that at least.
Shout out. I'll give a shout out to the Filipino women's soccer team for getting their first ever win in World Cup history by beating co-host New Zealand 1-0. So big congrats to the Pinoy Nation on
Right
getting
on.
their first win in World Cup history. Benny, you have anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Just thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe, follow, and have a good week.
And in the words of LeVar Burton. We'll see you. Oh, in the words of Wu-Tang, maybe it's for the children. I don't know. LeVar Burton. We'll see you next time. Horrible. If you were starting a CFL team, who would be the first current player that you draft?
Probably Chad Kelly.
Ooh,
you need that quarterback, man. You need that quarterback.
I'm gonna go Willie. I'm going Willie Jefferson.
Yeah.
Willie Jefferson. He's a game changer still at his age. The best defensive player in the league, maybe, or maybe Betts.
But then at this point, though, how many more years does Willie Jefferson have, though? Right?
I give him a solid 5.
Yeah, like he keeps himself in great shape, so you never know.
He's not slowing down right now.
No, I think he's actually probably playing better this year than last year, from what I remember. So
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.